The Division Resurgence is taking you back to New York City to see where it all began. It's a free-to-play, third-person shooter, and it's coming to iOS and Android. We've got the details on a new enemy faction, new specializations, the new storyline, and it's all here in our interview with Executive Producer Fabrice Navrez. This is a new story in the Division canon, and it takes place. You are the first wave arriving in New York City, is that correct?
The overall objective was to make sure that we give a unique story for Division fans to enjoy, to give more details about the Division universe, but also for newcomers, people that are not familiar with the Division 1 and the Division 2, to have a good start. And so you will start with the first wave before the Division 1 events, and then a big chunk of the game is actually after the Division 1 and before the Division 2, and from there we will expand the stories.
Now that first wave gave rise to rogue agents. Rogue agents, of course, some of the not just toughest enemies, but also most sort of developed characters in the Division franchise. Are we going to be meeting some new characters, some new faces that are really part of how this whole thing unfolded?
We are doing two things actually. It's first to meet with people that are known from the Division 1 or the Division 2, which is interesting to meet them before what happened actually in the Division 1 especially. And we're also introducing new villains.
Will we be seeing familiar factions, new factions? Who are we going to be fighting out there in the streets?
As a player, you will meet with the factions from the previous opus, but we also created dedicated factions. One of them is the Freemen, for example. So it starts with, okay, what a bunch of engineers, civil workers, people that know how to build stuff will behave in a collapsing New York City. Well, they will do their own arsenal, they will build their own weapons, and we'll also introduce a brand new gameplay to have new challenges for the player that plays very differently from the former factions.
Specializations, big part of the Division 2, not just in terms of special weapons that can change the tide of battle, but also a whole complement of abilities, mods, and buffs. Are there new specializations coming for the Division Resurgence?
Absolutely. You will find the specialization you used to have in the Division 2, but we also added new ones. We wanted to allow the player to change specialization when he wants, to make sure that when you're playing in cooperation with your friends, for example, that actually you can kind of adapt your playstyle to find the right synergy in your team. So the key here is really flexibility and bringing new cool stuff in your arsenal. If you want to play 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you can. If you want to go into a more intense focused game session of 2-3 hours, it's possible as well. You can basically play the game a bit fitting it with your time. The second thing we're looking at also is to give a lot of options for the player to customize the controls, for example, to make sure they are very comfortable with that, with the play style. So that's really the key there, and it's also how we take advantage of putting the Division on a mobile phone. It's a faithful Division game, so we had a lot of great inspiration to take from. Of course, it's adapted for a small screen, had to be easy to read, but you will feel at home basically with the overall UI style.
Playing with friends, playing solo, these are both different ways you've been able to play the Division in the past. How has that kind of translated to the mobile platform, being able to jump into solo, being able to jump into co-op? How have you sort of tuned that for mobile experience?
I would say it's quite similar to what you would expect from the Division. So it's basically you can either plan to play with your friends. From there you can do all type of activity in the open world, go to play the campaigns, etc. The game is the MMO at heart also. So if you meet some strangers that looks helpful, well, you can play with them and explore the city. And where we're pushing a bit more the boundaries is on the clan system, where basically what we want to have is to have a group of players that are gathering together and try to improve the situation in New York City. And basically all the tasks that is being made by the clan members is basically improving the overall situation. So you're not alone.
We talked about specializations, but of course that's only one part of your arsenal. As a Division agent, the gear you're wearing, the weapons you're wielding, the mods you have on them, and the way you acquire them, either by looting them from your enemies, from a cache, or by crafting them. Talk to me about how that kind of depth of customization has translated to the Division Resurgence.
So that's something we wanted to keep: the complexity, the theory crafting, the min-maxing. The Division Resurgence is a RPG, and that means that actually players will be able to really look on how to optimize everything to get the best build in a specific situation. So we kept most of the system you would expect from the Division. Of course, it's adapted. You start with the specialization that is kind of increasing the number of options. It means also different synergy with the guns, but you will have a quite complete mix actually to find the best play style.
Excellent. Can get really into it there. Now, folks, before we go, the Division Resurgence wants you to play the game early in upcoming tests. So go to thedivisionresurgence.com to sign up for a chance to get into the closed alpha this July. Fabrice, can you give us an idea of what the team is hoping to learn from these tests?
If you have the chance to play it, it's very important that we get your feedbacks. And the key there for us is to really understand how you play the game, how do you like what we've done with the control, with the overall pacing, the overall level design, and how we put New York City. So it's really focused on the gameplay experience and the immersion of the open world.
Sounds good, Fabrice. Thanks for taking the time to tell us more about the Division Resurgence. Sign up for a chance to join upcoming tests at thedivisionresurgence.com, subscribe to this channel, and keep up with the latest Ubisoft news at news.ubisoft.com.
It's a goddamn grenade!
Cargo secured. JTF notified for pickup.
Our guys have arrived.